Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to July 2020. Now, this is a really powerful month, and many people are going to be experiencing this as a month of really big clarity, of big connecting in, and also, continuing to do some challenging work in grace, in forgiveness, in tapping into some big lessons learned, having a bit of like a full circle moment. There's a lot of that going on in July. And for you all, there's actually quite a bit of supportive energy. It's a really interesting space you're inhabiting within the whole collective experience, because right away on July 1st, Saturn, one of your original ruling planet, is going to be moving back to Capricorn. So we've had this whole little experience over the last few months with Saturn coming to hang out with you since March. And now here in July, we're getting a little breath, right? It's almost like the next 6 months until Saturn comes back, or 5 months or so, until Saturn comes back into your sign, there is a moment here of looking through what it is you just learned, what just happened with that Saturn energy in Aquarius, taking a breath, incorporating it, understanding what we've learned from the last energetic cycle with Saturn moving through Capricorn the last few years, and getting ready for more of this revolutionary spirit that will be coming as Saturn moves through Aquarius starting in December, and then for a couple of years after that as well. So there's kind of this easing up, this lightening of energy that happens when Saturn moves out of your sign. We also have a full moon in Capricorn at the partial lunar eclipse. Now, both of these energies are happening in your 12th house, a very spiritual place where you often feel like you almost get nudges or information from the bigger consciousness, from that deeper knowing inside of yourself, from the really hidden order, and not so much of the external world. So the beginning of this month, I think, could be a really powerful hit on your intuitive knowing and a sense of just really knowing what it is you need to show up for this month. And actually the note that came up for Aquarius this month as I was sitting with your energy is that there's going to be a lot of feedback this month for you that you can utilize to understand what it is you need to be focusing on, what it is you need to be focusing your energy on, what it is that's feeling supportive to you and in flow with who you are becoming. And you're going to get that feedback from your physical body, from the things that your body is telling you about what's working in your routines and your habits. You're also going to get that feedback back at that soul gut level, which I guess is also physical in a way, but that knowing in that way as well. So this is a really powerful month for you to actually get some really great insight. We have Chiron moving retrograde this month as well, and that's going to be in Aries. So your house of communication, how you use your voice, just a chance to check in with, and this is also happening, this retrograde is happening until December. So this is about healing how we think of ourselves as flawed, healing how we think of ourselves as unworthy. And so, card wanted to come out, King of Swords, love that for Aquarius. Lots of clarity there in King of Swords, right? It's a great time to find some empowerment, some healing, and some grace when it comes to your voice, when it comes to your throat, when it comes to how you share and communicate. We also have Mercury going direct in Cancer, and we have a new moon in Cancer. These are happening in your 6th house, of your physical body. And Cancer season in general, so the first 3 weeks of this month are going to be all about you connecting with your physical body, with your routines, with what is serving you, with what is nurturing you. And then, of course, we move into Leo season, your opposite sign. And I've talked about this before, but Leo and Aquarius, we have such an amazing connection and we help each other so much. Often in life, our opposing sign is really where we're going to get so much wisdom and information. And so when we get into Leo season, this is a beautiful time for you to kind of see yourself from a different perspective, understand yourself more deeply. 4 of Wands. Opposing sign energy often has us tapping into relationship, Queen of Pentacles, and how we relate to others, what relationships are coming up, 6 of Cups, all right. Speaking of relationship, there's some relationship energy here. So yeah, there's a lot of really powerful energy. Now, this month is also interesting too, right? Because as we move through July, Venus is going forward through her whole post-shadow phase from Venus retrograde in Gemini. So she's still in Gemini, your fellow air sign, and this has everything to do with your heart and your creativity. And there being this kind of remembering, right? Unlike the word dismember, that idea of remembering, like putting the pieces back together as you move forward in life. Justice. Let's pull a couple more and then we'll talk through these. And I think even with Saturn kind of taking that pressure off for a little bit, 6 of Wands. This is just a great time to kind of put the puzzle together. There's some pieces that maybe have felt a little bit scattered or a little unclear as to how to put this all together. And Page of Pentacles. I love it. I have a lot of supportive energy here. A lot of rounding out energy going on here. And also, what was I saying about feedback for you? A lot of feedback coming in here this month. A lot of like messengers and conversations and clarity just being delivered from you probably as well as to you. So yeah, there's a lot of this kind of putting the puzzle piece together, understanding, oh, okay, this is what I need to do this next 6 months. And I would also say that, even with your intimate relationship with the Saturn situation, we're all right now, because we just got this taste of this new transit in your sign, we're all kind of also, though, coming to terms with the authoritarianism and the heaviness of Saturn and Capricorn. And the lessons we've been learning about how that imprisonment, that heaviness can, in the shadow side of it, quite honestly, I don't actually have bad feelings about Saturn. I think Saturn is a really beautiful planet and we learn to work with it. It's amazing. However, one of the things Saturn does is it teaches us big lessons. And I think we're coming to conclusions about some of those big lessons we've been learning and how we want to take those lessons and move forward. And right now in July, as we move back there, we're really looking at that. So this is just a great time to get clear, right? And we have King of Swords right off the bat. For me, this is about, you being in your integrity, right? You being able to really advocate for what it is that you want in this life, to be clear with your words, to be clear with yourself too. We often think about the conversations we want to have with other people and the things we want other people to know and the messages we feel we need to share. And that's important too, right? To be good with our words and impeccable with our word with others, but also with ourselves. Often, we want to skip the step of like being really clear with what it is that's working for us or not. And this is an air clearing kind of energy right here. And I think that self-honesty is going to be a big one this month for you all. Just, is this really what you want to be doing? Is this really what you want to be saying yes to? In some cases, you're going to say, yes, this definitely is, even if I don't understand exactly how it's all going to work. Sometimes you're going to be like, oh, saying yes to this just feels heavy. There's like a frost in my soul when I say yes, right? Now, we also have some of this really nourishing, celebratory energy. And this is where I also feel like, yes, this is about happy partnership, but this is also a graduation energy, a celebration energy, a culminating energy. 4 of Wands is all about when we understand something, right? There's been this whole journey to something. And sometimes that ends in a celebration, a graduation, a wedding. There's been a whole journey to understand something, and there's this point at which we can jubilantly say, I understand. I understand what this is. And, yes, I think when this happens internally, externally, beautiful things happen as well. We connect with others. We get deeper with others. We have beautiful experiences with others, right? So there is this sense that some beautiful things are going to be happening around you as a result of some of this deeper understanding. You do have supportive characters around you, right? You have the King of Swords, you have the Queen of Pentacles. So for those of you out there with some earth or air energy around you, I'm seeing a lot of that. But Queen of Pentacles, right? This is the nurturing queen. And Cancer season's a really interesting time for Aquarians. It's that watery cardinal energy. It also has a lot to do with your physical body and how it's speaking to you and how it's telling you. Queen of Pentacles is how we nourish ourselves, how we mother ourselves in the physical, right? And how we invest in ourselves and pay attention to what our bodies are telling us. They have some of the best information available to us that we often discount or ignore in favor of our thoughts or our logical processes. So the Queen of Pentacles brings us back to the wisdom of the body. Because there is also, while there's this beautiful like forward motion energy, there's also a review going on here. There's a review of something that hasn't been clear for a little while that's getting some big clarity. You know, Six of Cups is a very complex energy in many ways. It takes us through, it takes us down memory lane. It takes us into deja vu. It takes us into the collapse of time. And like the idealization of the past, the sentimentality of maybe a past experience, past relationship. We are finishing up Mercury retrograde at this time. We are in Venus retrograde post shadow. So there's a theme here of maybe something that's been haunting you, something that has been begging for an answer, getting an answer this month, getting some clarity this month, getting like that clicking in that happens. You know, sometimes we can intellectually understand something, right? It's like, I understand why this happened and it makes sense, and I don't really like need more explanation of it. I already have thought through this whole process. And then there's that moment where it clicks. You like feel it, where you like get it at that bone deep level where it's like, oh, okay, yes, I can really feel that. That's what I'm feeling for Aquarians this month, that there's been kind of this sense that you've been going on an infinite straight line forever and ever, and nothing really ever comes full circle, and it starts to get really disorienting out there with no full circle moments. We like our circles and our wave patterns, you know, we're really built into that universal patterning. So when it feels like we're going in an infinite straight line, it's very unsettling, right? And this is very full circle. I mean, so are these first three cards as well. These cards of nurturing, clarity, and culmination, and celebration, and connection, absolutely. But there's also kind of a healing going on with the past, or with past versions of yourself, with past lovers, with past identities, right? Past ways of being in the world that are coming up here. Now, with that, I think, you know, as you celebrate something, you also come to understand the past better, right? When we come to a culminating point, we like understand how it all connected, how all the pieces connected, and we are moving forward. Our fate is something we understand, and when we look back on it, right, rather than when we are looking forward. And there's this sense of triumph. There's a sense of an open door coming. And I think once we hit into Leo season for you all, you're going to be noticing that there is kind of like this, you hit a stride. You hit a stride, and that's where the Six of Wands and the Page of Pentacles comes in so clearly. The Six of Wands is known as the card of triumph, the card of excelling at something, making it through something, right? And standing tall and proud in it. It's that sense of forward motion. It's a very moving card, you know. There's a lot of motion in the visual of it. And there's that sense of knowing who you are and moving forward with it. And that Page of Pentacles is bringing in some kind of new information for you, right? Feedback that's really valuable. And this often comes, yes, one, from our physical bodies, what feels right, what feels wrong. Also from sometimes opportunities, sometimes projects, sometimes just open doors that we're needing to come into our lives to help us move forward in life, right? Like I said, when I felt through your energy this month, I thought it was really interesting. A lot of other energies, a lot of other signs are going through some pretty big identity shifts and like grieving periods and like shakeups a little bit. And when I was looking at your energy even before these cards, I was like, ooh, like Aquarius has more of this gentler energy working with them of like things making sense and connecting the dots. And I just think it's interesting that you are having a bit of a different experience than a lot of other people are. Keeping in mind that a lot of others are going to be going through some pretty heavy-duty internal work at this time. Just keep that in mind as you're going through your amazing full circle. But I am really happy to see this for you. You know, Aquarians, you are so tied into wanting to make the world a better place, to connecting the dots, to helping us all get to a better place of compassion and understanding, and ascending past, the limitations of what we think we are. And that's kind of sometimes a burdensome feeling, to be that role in the world, and we're needing your energy. We're needing Aquarian energy deeply right now. Just as a collective, it's a really important part of our process at this time. So I like, though, seeing some of that pressure lifted off. Yes, we all have to show up and do our part, and really being conscientious and kind and empathic, and doing all of that. And that's so important. But we as individuals also have to remember that we can't carry it all by ourselves, and that it's okay to also be learning to flourish within our own process, even when we have all these other layers of things going on in the world right now, and all these big learnings. So that's just a little reminder to you all to take such good care of yourselves. I know you want to take it all on your shoulders, and that's admirable, and yet you can't take it all on your shoulders. You know that we all have to do it together. So have a beautiful July. Take such good care of yourselves. I hope there are celebrations and connections and romances and nourishing goodness and full circle moments and healing from the past. I hope all of that comes into your field of vision. I would love to see you over on Patreon. We're going to be doing a lot more deep support on the final eclipse of this very long eclipse season, Saturn moving back to Capricorn, and all the other things, powerful things that are happening this next few months, and on and on. It's a really great, beautiful, lovely community. I would love to see you over there, and thank you so much to those of you who are already there. You have changed my life. You've added so much to it. You have helped me immensely. I can't even tell you. I'd love to see you there. You can also find my Instagram and on my website at Sarah Verba, and you can find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. All of that is in the description box. I will see you so soon for the next Moon Magic. I'm sending you all so much love, and have a beautiful July, my Aquarian friends.